This week, the nerds discuss Danny Boyle's exit from Bond 25, the end of the Big Bang Theory, who is the turd burglar, and more bad news for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All of this, and a little bit of funny on this episode of Nerds Who Get Laid Sometime.
Nerds who get laid, 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 nerds who get laid.
Welcome to Nerds Who Get Laid
Sometimes.
Guys, it's a sad day when it's only the core four and we're missing the ultimate.
When do we start calling ourselves the Core Four?
Whenever Chuck's not here.
The silent but violent Charles Garrett Devereaux is not with us tonight.
Yeah, he said he had a lot of better shit to do than sit in a room and pump farts into his chair.
Why has he ever been here?
He said
I'm sure he's always got something better to do than being
I
here.
don't know. He seemed really excited about something he got from Woot.com. Well, no, it was
A new
Wish.
T-shirt?
No, it was
Wish.
Wish. I think it was. He said it was a flashlight or something. I don't quite know.
I thought he had electricity, but I guess it was a very big flashlight. So good for him. We're going to miss him.
Yeah.
I have to say that's in the script. Anyway, guys, I was thinking, this is just a quick question I want to pose before we go to Nerd-Ons. What do you
My
think?
sister. Oh, different question. Sorry.
What do you think if you had to choose, gun to your head, your favorite genre of like
I
movie
would choose
show
a
to
gun
watch?
to my head.
Gun to your head just to blow you away?
Movie show to watch?
Yeah, movies and shows. Like, is there a genre that you just love more? Like, it'd be an action
Sci-fi.
comedy. Sci-fi is your
It's
go-to?
always sci-fi.
Yeah.
I like shitty sci-fi. I like really good sci-fi. I just love sci-fi.
I've been finding mine is war. I really, really enjoy
that seems
war-based
kind of
stuff.
strange.
Well, like, it can be fantasy, but I want war to be there.
Okay.
I realized
I wouldn't peg you for a war person.
I choose-
Band of Brothers, you love it.
I choose fiction.
Well, yeah. TJ, you can't Thompson it up in here. You gotta. That's not a. That's a broad
I
stroke.
choose
These are the kind of
knowledge.
I enjoy movies.
If I had
the
to move,
movies, that's the genre of movies I like. Films.
the moving pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
The motion pictures that
The
are around
talkies.
Talkies.
you know,
that is where I cut it off. Is like 1923.
the 90 to 180 minute length entertainment base.
If I had to narrow it down, I would say sci-fi action.
Sci-fi action.
Sci-fi action.
You know, like Starship Troopers, Aliens, things. You know, like that I really
RoboCop.
enjoy.
I'd say action.
Action.
Yeah.
No, I guess like I just want battles. I want a lot of battle, a lot of shooting, tooting, and rooting.
Honey, we're watching Glory, then we're watching Gods and Generals, and then we're watching Legends of the Fall, and then we're watching Saving Private Ryan.
That sounds
then
like
we're
a
watching
great evening to
10,000
me.
BC.
Then we're
There's a lot
watching-
of fighting in there in Battlefield Earth.
Entire series of Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean it's me. I don't know. I've just realized in the last couple of weeks, especially listening to the podcast we listen to about it, it's just triggered. And I'm like, man, I think of the movies I really enjoy. Like every time I see Lord of the Rings on Netflix, it takes a lot of willpower not to hit play. I'm like, man, I could fucking watch that fucking long ass series over and over again.
Well, I mean, it's obvious you're a jingoistic warmonger.
Obviously.
Obviously.
With that being said, let's really narrow down what we've been nerding out on this week and go on to the Nerd-Ons.
Get your nerd on. 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 Get your nerd on.
Hold on, we're trying to contact Chuck and see if he actually answers.
You absolutely will not answer.
No, of course not. He's ghosting me right now. Out of all the people to screen a phone call on me,
How many calls does he get where he has to screen them?
I know. Chuck, pick up. Is Facebook
I think it
Messenger?
gave up.
Oh, it's recording a message.
Okay, well,
Hey, Chuck.
you're on the air. We
You're on
wanted
the
you
air.
to be a part of the podcast.
And obviously, you're too good. If you're listening to this tomorrow, we tried to call you and you didn't answer, and that's more rude than not showing up.
Well, he told us he wasn't showing up.
Exactly.
He didn't tell us he wasn't going to answer our call.
Yeah, can't answer our phone calls. You fuck boy.
Look, we're not just here when you need us.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, friendship works both ways, man.
No,
Exactly.
I really needed them.
Not just
today.
when you need us.
All right. Well, here goes the Nerd On, guys.
Wait, what is Nerd On?
It's where we review the nerdy things we've done the past week and
Okay, good.
explain it to the audience to let them know that we truly are losers and this isn't just some giant act.
I'll have to change my
And that
list
we're
then.
the rest of the week just
For all the
smashing
money.
badge and playing football.
doing football.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do Ray's Nerd On for him. Boy, this week I'm getting ready for the draft because football, college is coming back and roll tide.
You know,
Sisters
you
beware,
know I'm a
roll
Bulldog
Tide.
fan.
Oh yeah, go Dogs!
Thank you.
I just know it's some.
Is football starting back this week?
Yeah, it's this weekend,
Really?
Saturday.
Okay.
See, it's your fucking Nerd On. I read it. Actually, I think 1 week we should just pass our phones to the left and read each other's Nerd Ons. And just
I don't know. Some compromising messages might come through that Chuck can't handle from my phone.
But Ray, what have you been doing, sir?
I have been
Stupid.
So we've had a lot
I don't know,
of
that's should be funny.
a lot of stuff going on at work this week. So I've had to take my nerd-ons in like little bits. Yeah, boo.
I almost hit Rob and Chris last night. Backing out of Wasabi.
Oh yeah,
I guess IT had a dinner there at
Maybe.
Gator Dockside.
maybe.
That they didn't invite Ray to.
Nope.
Shipped his ass off across the state.
Yeah. So I've been watching. There's several docuseries that are on Netflix now that are very short. They're about 15 to 16, maybe 20 minutes long at the most. One of them's called Explained, and
The Vox series.
yeah, the Vox series.
They're
Have you watched
phenomenal.
any of those?
Yeah, they've been my fucking Nerd On before.
Have they?
Yeah.
I thought they were new.
No, they've been.
Okay.
This has been around for weeks. I tell you about Vox documentaries all the time.
Well, these are on there.
Shows you don't pay attention.
And
Ray's just sitting there looking at his phone. Can't wait till I get to talk.
why do you keep speaking to me?
No dogs.
So I watched a bunch. I watched all of them that were on there. So that they went from they talked about weed, tattoos, growing old, astrology, cricket.
Yeah, the cricket
I
one
knew
was
nothing
really good.
about cricket. It was great.
The cricket one and the online gaming were my two favorite. I think.
The esports. And
esports.
the exclamation point, extraterrestrial life, the stock market, why do diets fail, cryptocurrencies, K-pop, monogamy.
The K-pop one was really good
The
too.
K-pop one was great. Designer DNA and the racial wage gap.
Yep.
And they were all really good. They were really interesting. Allison wasn't as into some of them because something like that, you're going to give me 16 minutes of something, I can pay attention that long to anything that I don't care about. And they were so well done.
Millennials.
If you would enjoy those, seriously look up their YouTube series because
Seriously.
they're all 2 minutes to 10 minutes.
Are they
It's
on
about-
Netflix? Are there YouTube series on Netflix?
No, they have a whole YouTube channel. This is where Vox started, and then they got the deal with Netflix.
But I also BuzzFeed has a series that they just put on called Follow This, and so I watched probably about 3 or 4 episodes of that, and it's a little bit more it's a little bit more like social issues and stuff. So one of them was on African American survivalists, like people that are like preppers and stuff like that. And that was really interesting. And one of the other ones was about intersexuals, which are like people who are hermaphrodites and everything. And that one was pretty cool. But there's one. Do y'all know about ASMR?
I don't.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So this is a thing.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't like the sounds at all.
Yeah, it's a thing on YouTube where people do these YouTube videos,
They get
it's
really close to the mic.
Oh, okay.
Where
I do know what you're
they
talking
whisper,
about.
and they'll do
weird
like sounds. So they would whisper at the mic, and then scratch the microphone.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
like rip
or
paper
meditating
Yeah.
or scissors cutting.
Yeah,
things
and,
like that.
and I've known about it for years.
Yeah.
Because Allison stumbled on it several years ago on YouTube, and she was like, "You have got to see this. This is the weirdest stuff."
Great.
And certain people get like sort of tingly.
Yeah.
And are very relaxed from this. Some people it seems like maybe it's a genetic thing, but they're not really sure. There's almost no studies on it.
Most likely old people don't feel anything because their hearing's dead.
Maybe. But that one was a very, very interesting thing to kind of get a little deeper into, a little more understanding of.
No, they're really well done. There's one that when I first heard about it, about a person giving a haircut, and so it's and they use the left to right speakers really well, and so you hear the buzzing and it goes around. It was perfectly done.
No, yeah, and a lot of the ones that they showed the videos of, they have those.
Because there's one of like a lady who just eats crunchy food.
Yes,
that was weird.
Apparently, I these numbers might be kind of off, but I think they said that like a few years ago, like last year or 2016, maybe these were in 2017. Within a year, though, they went from like being like 5 million videos on YouTube to being like 12 million. So it's like doubled the amount of people that are into this and do this. So that was really interesting. So I've been watching a lot of these docuseries. The explained one, like Nathan had said, that one's really good. They're great because they're 15 minutes long.
They're quick and digestible. They're really good if you're on lunch and you don't want to commit to watching a show or maybe not, reading a book, and you just want to get a little knowledge bomb. That's why I like them, because I've watched all those, and then I watch a lot of ones on YouTube because they do everything from political stuff. There was a really good one about maps and just like how maps are so different and how it's hard for people that make maps, whatever that's called. Mike probably knows the actual
Photographers.
There we go. TJ with the swing. But how they argue about the different ones because it's hard to show scale while also showing, so really just awesome things to listen to and watch.
Yeah. So that was basically it for me. That and a lot of computer stuff. So
Mike.
Big surprise. Still playing a lot of Doom. Really enjoy it. Chainsawing some demons in half. Glory killing a ton of them, pulling out their hearts and sticking it up their buttholes. So that's been really fun.
Krista.
I am enjoying our book club book for the month, Educated.
That's been really out there.
It has been quite strange to catch up. It is about a girl named Tara Westover who, while living...
That's a fake name.
While living in the mountains of Idaho, she lived with a really strict Mormon survivalist family. Like, her family was this, and just all this abuse and crazy shit going on about how she slowly, despite not being taken to school and everything, she was never allowed to go to school. How she, passed her ACT, went to college, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
it's been a really interesting read, a lot more than I thought it would be.
Yeah, she didn't even have a birth certificate till she was 9, I think it was, right?
Exactly.
It was crazy.
Yeah, never went to high school, middle school, anything.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
that's how I'm raising my
dad
kids.
wanted everybody off the grid. They're like, no.
Off the grid, baby. Government don't need to know nothing about me.
No.
Basically, when Ruby Ridge happens, he just goes crazy and becomes a survivalist nutcase. As far as the book is concerned,
he's on the right trail there.
Okay, TJ. And so that's been way more interesting than I thought it would. I'm going to be excited to talk about it at our book club meeting on Tuesday. And then, lastly, I went and saw the new Mark Wahlberg movie, Mile 22.
How was it?
It was really good.
I don't even know about this movie.
How does it compare to 8 Mile?
I feel like
a lot less
it
hip-hop.
is almost 3 times as good. Like 2 off, maybe.
How's the gunplay and all the action?
It's a very strange movie. It's an H Brothers movie, which is a new and upcoming production company I keep seeing. They're Chinese, and I'm pretty sure they did the Meg too. I can't be sure, but all the trailers were for this H Brothers production company. That they seem to be the Andrew, I forget his name, Vajna or something like that, and Andrew Kassar, these 2 dudes who did like 80s and 90s all action movies like Terminator, Rambo. These two dudes produced them all. So I guess they're becoming that. So they produced the movie, and it's about kind of Tom Clancy Division-esque type group of folk who are part of the government, but not really. They're all plainclothes, but they're like spec ops. Maggie from Walking Dead is in it, Lauren Cohen. Mark Wahlberg, obviously, and some other people. What's really cool about it, though, is that, forgive me, I don't know his name, but the guy who, the main character of The Raid, the guy I've been telling you about, is in the movie as well. So there is a lot of just awesome fight scenes, a lot of cool gunplay. The thing that's very strange is Mark Wahlberg plays a character who I can't explain it. They explain it in the movie, but it's like he's so smart and he thinks so fast that
Mark Wahlberg?
in the movie, yeah, his character.
Wait a minute. Someone was casting
Well, let's see
for this, and they said, we want someone who thinks really fast.
Let's see what the twist on this is. So, Mike, continue.
So in order to slow the buzz of his mind down, he has this rubber band around his wrist that he pops throughout the movie. It's kind of like a plot point. But throughout the movie, because of this, and I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating or anything, he is a complete asshole to every single person, even his closest soldier buddies in the entire movie. He is a dick the whole time. I think they just said be Mark Wahlberg. It's impressive. It's hilarious at times how fucking mean. There's this he dresses someone down for 30 seconds. And I'm not exaggerating at all. It's magical. So yeah, that's my nerd on.
All right, TJ.
Okay, well,
Follow that.
Oh, I'll try.
Dun, dun,
So this Friday we had our monthly food party, which was a Tacky Dad barbecue theme.
well, the theme was TJ is old.
Yes, yes.
How old did you turn? 41?
I
42.
haven't turned 42 yet. That will be Tuesday.
Okay, you'll be turning 42.
Yes, 42 years.
So
And-
your birthday is August 27th?
28th.
28th. You and my sister have the same birthday.
And Mike didn't know it was your birthday.
I'm so hurt right
Devastated.
now. You're dead to me now, Mike.
According to this dark weather app that lets you jump back in time, you're about 14,500 days old.
Funny enough, that's
Nice.
also Jack Kirby's birthday. So that's pretty cool.
So when you meet him, you have something to talk about.
Exactly.
That's-
Besides, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider.
Yeah.
Nah, he's heard all that, but hey, man, we got the same
Incredible
birthday.
Hulk.
That's going to be my end with Britney Spears.
Spider-Man?
No, the fact that we have the same birthday.
Oh, okay.
She hates Spider-Man.
So this week, to prepare for, not to jump ahead on the news or anything, American Vandal 2 is coming out, or Season 2 is coming out. So I started boning up on American Vandal again, just
Pun intended?
pun definitely intended on that one.
Well played, sir.
Thank you. I watched a lot of YouTube documentaries this week, too.
Nice.
Just some
I recommend
Crazy stuff
any
like-
Juggalo documentaries. They're all really good.
things like
Yeah.
states that could have been and things like that.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It was really weird.
Got any highlights?
Did you learn about the state of New Jefferson?
Yeah, several Jefferson states that were suggested, actually.
When we go to California, Wairika was the designated capital that was going to be for New Jefferson. And the day that they were supposed to separate was Pearl Harbor.
Oh, wow.
And that's why they didn't, because it would show weakness during the war.
Crazy.
Cool.
So California was actually going to separate till that happened.
They've been talking about that for a while, too.
There's signs all
there's
over
still
the place
plans
there.
to split in like 3 states, or 3 to 6 states is what I've
Good God.
seen.
Six states.
Like California itself split it up into 6 states.
Yeah, if
And
they don't
half of Oregon.
completely pull off or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the
California.
other interesting ones was the planned state around British Columbia, where it would have taken part of Canada, in a couple of states there and started a republic almost as well. And then there was the plan that the reason we bought Alaska is to try to get Great Britain to just give us the Pacific coast of Canada as well. Just say, well, you got 2/3 of it, like in Monopoly. You get 2/3 of the properties. I might as well just sell you the last one.
That sucks that they didn't, give in on that because, we'd be getting all that ice truck driver money.
Exactly.
That's true.
But then our state would just look so weird on T-shirts because it would be all weird on the left. Now it's got a perfectly flat top. I mean,
it's L
Yeah.
for
Flat
leader.
top, of course.
It's got a flat top.
America's going to have a flat
Now
top.
it's going to be an upside down mullet.
It would be like a weird man bun with Florida being the wing. Anyway,
Been watching a lot of Batman animated series this last week. It's a great series. If you've never heard or seen of it, you should definitely catch up on that.
If you've never heard or seen of it,
We'll get you a VCR under your
no
rock.
one knows why you're listening to us right
No.
now.
I just still love the
I'm waiting to talk
animation
about
on
the
it.
candy. I love nerds.
But yeah, the animated style, that like old gothic look to it, it's perfect, and it's funny because if I remember correctly, because they were pretty much pulling off of the old Superman cartoons, weren't they?
Yeah.
That's what they were inspired by, the ones from the 50s, which still look amazing.
Yes. And then, it went into like the Superman animated series and then the Justice League, and it's just great. If you've never done it, if you're too young to have known about it, look it up because it's awesome.
And the animated Batman series is on
Amazon Prime
Amazon
right now.
Prime, yeah,
For free.
So
So
I think are there 4 seasons, 5,
I think
3?
there's 4 seasons, and then there's 2 or 3 of Superman, and then
Okay.
Justice League. And Justice League had 2 seasons, and then Justice League Unlimited had 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot
of lot of great animation, and if you're not familiar with DC, it does a great job of distilling things for you.
And great vocal acting, like
The voice acting's amazing.
Mark Hamill as the Joker, of course.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
Still my favorite fictional depiction of Batman is animated series Batman.
It's so awesome that they were able to get those two to voice for the Arkham series of
Oh,
video
yeah.
games.
It made it so much better.
Yeah, it did. It's just impressive.
For me personally, Mark Hamill being the voice of the cartoon Joker, when they make animated movies where he's not the voice, I have a hard time buying in.
Yeah, or TV
Well, a lot
shows.
of people try to imitate him. I think
Yes.
Troy Baker did a pretty good job in Arkham Origins.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Okay, that wasn't Mark Hamill didn't do it.
No, that was Troy Baker, who does a ton. Troy Baker also did Joel in Last of Us and quite a few other different.
He did.
He's quite famous.
He did really good.
And for everybody keeping track of my Hot Toys collection,
I'm sure there's a list somewhere.
yeah, I'm sure someone is. I picked
Rob
up.
TJ's house.
It's probably Katie who writes it down and goes, "That motherfucker didn't tell me about that one."
No, I always do. I always tell her about it. One, it's hard to hide a box that large that comes in.
Yeah,
But
That's what
two-
she said.
But two, I just want to be upfront about it. So, guys, if you're out there and trying to hide your hobbies from your wife or significant other,
Divorced her.
Then you just have to get a large enough amount. If you go out and buy 6,000 comic books, it's hard for them to know if you've got enough.
Yeah, if you add another 100, what
Who
is that?
knows? Just kidding.
where did that long box come
Yeah.
from? I've been secretly
Yeah.
marking them, Ray. That's
Yeah,
what's
when you have 2 long boxes and you come home with a third, but when you got 16 to 20,
It's like, where'd
Yeah.
all this come from? Oh, I've had it the whole time. No, you did. Are you going to sit here
I
and
got
say...
it from my parents.
Are you going to say that I bought a half a room of comics? Because that's ludicrous. Oh, I guess you're right. Thank God she bought it.
I did move. You can't tell. You fucking can't tell. I moved most of my comics upstairs.
I couldn't tell because there's still a
There's
giant
still a fucking pile of them.
cardboard here.
All the stuff that we took to the toy and comic show is upstairs now, and
Why?
several other.
Why would you do that?
At what point does your house become a fire hazard, Ray?
Wait,
Why
every
would you
time.
move the ones that you're
Comes.
not going to be dragging off to cons?
Well, I moved it up there because there's a whole room I can use to start organizing them
But
better.
my point is, you could move the ones that you're keeping upstairs, and
Which
then
I'm
the
gonna
ones
do.
for the cons you can leave downstairs, so you don't have to go as far
God,
to
come
carry
on.
them out.
That's true.
Or
Or
comic box slide.
That's what I
There
was
you
thinking.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, I'm on board again. But
And
the-
also,
Well,
Blaze slide
actually,
when
what he
gets
could do is
over here.
because the stairs go right to the door, he just
Yeah, I just opened
toboggans
the
them
door.
down.
just all Stanley's them.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
slide up.
Yeah, you know, and make it through the wall of the wasps into the back of the Cherokee.
Wasp wall.
He'll get one of those little chairs that rides down the staircase, and
There's
puts
just a
his
wall
comic
of
books
white
on 'em.
men outside my house.
Yeah, just white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. You're not getting these devil books through us. Hold the line.
But the figures I got were the Han and Chewie 2-pack from Episode 4.
Okay, you posted pictures, and I was like, I thought he had that already.
No, I didn't have that.
Yeah,
one
Did you
already.
already have a Chewie?
No,
You are okay, but you have had a Han. Okay, cool.
I had
Because
the
this was the
Hoth
one.
Han.
Okay, this was the yes. This is the one that when it first came out, people were complaining about the Chewie's hair.
I still don't like
Yeah.
Chewie's face. It
Yeah.
looks very weird.
Well,
You have
if
to
you
style the hair correctly.
if you compare it to the other ones that have come out,
yeah.
this is miles away the best.
Streets ahead.
Yes, this is miles away the best Chewbacca that's out there. So it's like,
So it looks kind of like
and
it.
I was kind of looking at things, and then when they put the preview up of the Solo movie Chewbacca's, kind of hoping it would go back to that look.
They should.
And it didn't.
They
It
should
stayed
come with a tiny comb and some hairspray.
It comes with a
and
tiny
a
comb.
diagram.
It
It
comes
does?
with a tiny comb.
That's
yes.
What about a diagram? So, like, this is how you move the fur to make it look like
No,
the Chewie.
A tiny
I didn't
hair dryer.
do any of the poses in those pictures I sent you guys.
Yeah.
But
Never seen Chewie
can-
in a pose.
you
He's just
can-
standing aggressively.
take the hair with your fingers and like spread it out and make it look like it's blowing in the wind and all
I
kinds of
bet you
craziness.
can.
So
Weird.
it's very strange.
Got to tease it.
Yes. Then, and this week, speaking of hot toys, I wrote my first review for
Oh, that's right.
and it was
the
excellent.
GWW.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
I liked the format, the look. It was.
Yeah, it was great.
I gave it 5 jalapenos
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
out of
that,
20.
guys.
Don't get a
And
big
that was
head.
on your
Look at the big head.
Gladiator Hulk.
Yeah, the Gladiator Hulk. I'll
so
be
glad to do that.
doing one next week
Okay.
for the Episode 5 Darth Vader
Darth Vader.
that's coming out. So
So much material.
Be on the
yeah,
lookout.
and I'll
at
probably do some classic
GWW.com.
reviews as well
Some
for
what?
that. Some classic reviews,
Yeah.
like some of the older, like the Han and Chewie set. I might do one for that. And
I thought you said the haunted Chewie set. I'm like, what? Tell me about that. But
Haunted Chewie would be awesome.
then
Actually,
haunted Chewie. Ghost in his fur. Okay.
that's all I got.
All right. Well, let's end it with me. So I've been also
Let's go to the news.
continually watching the Mini Project. It's a good show. I don't want to go into a lot of details, but I'm on like the 4th season, and it's had
Is
its
fourth
ups.
season the last season, or
I don't
is it
think
5?
so. I think there's 5 or 6
Okay.
seasons. It's had its ups and downs. It's introduced new characters. There's this one. He's a Southern gentleman.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't like him at first. He's slowly kind of growing on me. Speaking of Mark Wahlberg, his brother is still probably my favorite character. Plays the nurse.
Yeah.
And he's just super trashy and just hilarious.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Is it? I can't remember. Who
I
it
don't
is.
think
Is
it's
the one from
Donnie.
New Kids on the Block.
No. This one is like he was probably raised in a shed
Oh.
because he looks very.
Is it Owen Wilson Wahlberg?
Yeah. But besides
Wow.
that, I started Band of Brothers this week.
That's
Wow.
an excellent series.
I've never seen it before.
I've never watched it.
It's been a long time since I've seen it. But
It's
God,
good.
it's so good.
It's on Prime. If yeah, it is.
okay.
But it's also on HBO Go.
Well, Prime
Hobbs.
has the deal where you get the older
some of
HBO
them, yeah.
shows. So like if you don't want to pay for the HBO, you can do Prime, who has an agreement. They have a bunch of the old HBO shows on there, like Carnival.
They have Taxi
Deadwood.
Cab
Deadwood.
Confessions.
Deadwood.
All the old ones. But man, it is really, really good. I like how they have like the mini documentary usually at the beginning, interviewing some of the soldiers from the war. If you've never watched it, and if you like war, it's really
It's
well done.
really surprising who they get for some of the roles too. Like David Schwimmer being an asshole captain.
Oh,
during
the whole
training.
time I was like, "Fucking Ross."
Yeah.
What is he?
And what's
The
his name
only
from
other thing
Office
he's
Space? Is like
Yeah. One of
their commander,
lieutenants.
right?
He's
Yeah.
he's one of them. So yeah, there's little just actors that pop up. You're like, holy shit, I know that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I also started The Extraordinary Tales of Edgar Allan Poe, the animated movie that's online. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on Netflix.
No, I know nothing about this.
So it's from 2013. It's 5 of his stories animated. I watched, I think, 3 or 4 last night. It's kind of they're each about maybe 20 minutes, but I did The Telltale Heart, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar. I can't remember how it's Voldemort, yeah. But like,
don't say his name.
Christopher Lee does one of the, he narrates one of them. Then the other one was Bela Lugosi. Bela
Lugosi, yeah.
Yeah, Lugosi.
Oh, wow.
There. That one's really creepy because it's an old recording. And you can tell, but the animation with it
so
is
they take these recordings and they do animation over it?
Yeah. So,
that's awesome.
It's like Christopher Lee, he reads...
Because Bela Lugosi's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I was...
Yeah, he reads The Telltale Heart, and it's cool. If you want something that's really creepy, it's a good one to watch.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix.
And
whose house can he come over to watch it?
Pretty much. What are the other ones?
You know what? I didn't write those down. I wrote the ones I had watched.
Is one a Cask of Amontillado?
I don't know. I might have it right here. The Facts, The Pit, and the Pendulum.
And the Pendulum, yeah.
Sorry, hold on. Just open it up.
That's all right.
And then the Red Death. Is that what you're...
Mask of the Red Death.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so both of those are on it as well.
That makes sense.
Who reads those? Does it say?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say until you... Okay.
I think I downloaded an Edgar Allan Poe anthology on Audible, and I've yet to listen to it.
So, but I enjoyed it, me and the missus.
Speaking of, this is for everybody, but on Audible, right now, you can get the Game of Thrones prequel book. God, let me see what the name of it is. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin for $6 right now, if you're a member of Audible. It's normally $30.
That's a good deal.
And normally his stuff is like 2 credits too if you're doing a monthly subscription. So
so it's really cool. This takes place when the Targaryens are still in power of the Seven Kingdoms. So I'm excited to read it.
Cool, he wrote that. I mean, I just wish he would write the other
finish the fucking series. Yeah.
No, he wrote it a while ago. I think maybe. I want him to fucking write Fever Dream 2.
Fuck yeah. And then last that I watched was No Country for Old Men. Haven't watched that movie in a long time, and it just got
popped up on Netflix.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it and had to hit play because it had been a long time. And God, it is aged perfectly. That movie is just so well shot.
When did that come out? It's not too old. It is
came
like
around
2012.
No, it's older. It came out when There Will Be Blood.
2006,
2008. Yeah, it was filmed.
2008,
I was in college when it came out.
It filmed the same time as There Will Be Blood. Because a little factoid is they had to shut down filming because when they did the oil fire on There Will Be Blood, you could see it and ruined their scenes.
Oh, okay. I knew it came out about the same time because it was also like Oscar nominated or whatever.
But Brolin's he's good in it, man. And so is
2007.
The villain. What's
Javier Bardem.
Because I was reading another little trivia fact. Is when they approached him, he's like, I don't speak good English. I don't like violence. This isn't my type of movie. And they're like, that's exactly why we want you to play him. Because you'll be perfect for it. And just that alone just makes more sense with his character because he's just so creepy. Every time
Woody Harrelson did a great job too.
He does, man. Like, and that's where I learned that Woody. Because whenever I watch movies I've seen before, I always pull up IMDb and like to read like facts and stuff.
Wait, who? Because
I
was
didn't
Woody Harrelson in it.
He was a bounty hunter, I believe.
Oh yeah. And then Tommy Lee Jones. Because the end scene of that of him just fucking sitting there talking is just
it's good.
Yeah.
Because Woody Harrelson's dad apparently was a contract killer. And killed multiple people.
Oh, that's what you came upon that.
Yeah, I was reading up on that, and I was like, "What a fucking backstory Woody Harrelson has."
Yeah, for real.
Talking to his dad.
So apparently his dad left him when he was young, and so he didn't speak to him years later after he'd been arrested for killing a judge and stuff, and was like, my dad's really smart and interesting, but he's not really a dad. He's just a guy that I know now.
It's part of his story. His story. His history.
So.
One of my favorite lines ever was from that movie. I mean, the entire movie, I love it. It's one of my favorites. But it's the scene where Anton Chigurh has Woody Harrelson cornered in his hotel room, and he says, like, if your entire life you followed the rules and it led you to this, then of what use was the rule? And I was just like,
whoa.
I was like, it's like the cold logic of bringing that man's down to that moment, and trying to like break his spirit before you kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
There's a YouTube channel I follow, and I think it's called From the Script to the Screen.
You sent me one of those, and that's another one of my favorites.
They did this scene where he is talking to the gas attendant, and he walks up and he's asking him to pay for gas. And what it does is it shows you the script on one half of the screen and then the performance. And it's just so interesting.
I've actually seen this all over YouTube lately.
It's been blowing up. It's on Facebook. Yeah, like people have been posting it. Other ones, it's getting some traction because it's just really neat because you'll see where as it's going through, there'll be like 3 paragraphs that it has to blow through because they cut it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey guys, did you like Dub Smash where you do the famous lines? Now you have something even crazier. The people who actually said it do the lines. Transcribe videos.
But if you do enjoy cinema, I can't suggest it enough because
I like
it's
it
really
on my rolls, my cinnamon rolls, but
Cinnamon?
cinema.
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yes, I take only the biggest cinnamon rolls, like The Godfather.
But with that being said, let's move on to the news.
All right.
News. Get your news on. News.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you to the newsman of the evening, Jimmy Ray Hancock. Come on now. He's reading the news. You're gonna read the news now. Jimmy Ray is reading the news. Hey Ray, what type of news you got tonight? Well, I hope it's good, 'cause it's Ray with the news. Here we go. Ray's with the news chat. Ray's reading the news chat. Ray's reading the news chat. Ray's reading the news chat.
All right, guys. Well, we've got a little bit of news to talk about this week, and so I'm going to read it to you.
Nice.
I'll present it to you.
Present it. That's the way I like it.
Present, Ray.
Well, one of my favorite scenes in South Park ever. I don't exactly remember what's going on, but Cartman is asking Kyle to do something, and he says, "Suck my balls, Cartman," and Cartman says, "Present them to me." So I always like to make that reference, and no one ever gets it, but it gives me a little chuckle in my heart.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now we know a little bit more about you, Ray.
I know.
I like you
and
even
you
less.
appreciate it. So DC Universe is supposed to be kicking off sometime this fall, August, something, and
There's only a few more days of that.
yeah, exactly. They're supposed to. They're doing a thing called DC Daily though, and this is going to kick off on August 29th. Kevin Smith is going to be their first host. It's going to be 4:30. It's going to be live on YouTube, and it's just a DC talk show. Essentially, they're going to have different people host it and everything. But Kevin Smith's going to be our first guy, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more information about what exactly we're going to get from
what that entails.
DC Universe, and it'll probably give us a little bit more info about like some of the shows coming up. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I think this will be really cool. This is a good way to get that information out to your fans.
Yes.
In a very direct way, not through like all these all kinds of other formats and everything. It's like if you're a DC fan, DC Universe has everything, and we're also going to tell you this shit. So sign up.
Yeah,
I think it's smart.
I'm curious how popular this will be and how many other people will pick this up for things later.
Yeah, because I now, because I was completely content with Marvel Unlimited, but now, God, if this is the kind of stuff we're going to be getting from DC, I need Marvel to step it up a little bit.
Well, I say DC is kind of changing their game. They're thinking this is probably how they're gonna make the money like Marvel is or the movies instead of direct.
It's a good way to adapt.
Well,
I mean, as the industry changes.
It's a smart thing coming in so far after Marvel with a digital presence like this,
and an arguably better product. We'll see what the execution looks like, but just by what they'll have available, it's a superior product.
No, it sounds like they have a real action plan in place where this is how we're going to go about it. We're going to execute, and we're going to bring this many people with it. And like I said, from everything, I'm getting celebrities. I mean, like, Kevin Smith's a pretty easy get, but he still has a lot of nerds that come to it. Yeah.
Well, He's a very big fan of DC Comics.
absolutely.
And very big advocate for them. So
And
it's
he's good at talking.
He's been
and
a writer
stuff.
before. Yeah, and podcasting and everything. That's like his thing.
Because he just wrote a new the Hit Girl. He got a comic coming out with a Hit Girl here.
Oh, is he doing Hit Girl?
Yeah, he got Hit Girl does Hollywood coming out in a couple of weeks.
Okay, okay, because Hit Girl's been they just relaunched that recently.
Yep,
which is okay, cool.
Yeah, he wrote it. I guess weird. I follow him on Instagram, so he posts these little things all the time. But he wrote it after his heart attack. I guess while I was in the hospital.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, that's going to be like I said, August 29th, starting at 4:30. It'll be on YouTube, and I think it's free. So this will be the first one. I assume this is one of those you get a little taste and then sign up because DC Unlimited or DC Universe is not open for business yet. So
not yet.
So we'll see. Speaking of TV shows, Big Bang Theory is finally ending next season with its 12th season. Yeah. It's one of the Big Bang Theory is one of those.
Big Bang Theory?
Yeah. Or what is it? Big Bang?
I thought you said series, and you switched.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. It's one of those shows that I believe has probably helped nerd culture, but also hurt it just as much. It's brought a lot of things to the mainstream, but it's so everyone is socially inept in those shows still. Mm-hmm. So it's brought things to the forefront. So like doing Infinity Con and doing the podcast and being into stuff, older people that don't know about this stuff will always be like, oh, them boys on Big Bang Theory. And you're like, goddamn.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows. I'm sure if you watch it, it has its moments of entertainment.
My parents love it. In fact, my mom, she emailed me an article from Yahoo Mail about how they were the show was ending, and apparently it's completely on the behest of Jim Parsons, the gentleman who plays Sheldon.
Yeah.
And they said his age. You know that dude's 45 years old.
Wow.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even have a spinoff. The Young Sheldon wasn't.
Yeah, there's Young Sheldon, which I've watched a few episodes of that because they come on back to back. And I eat dinner with my parents, so I usually watch what they watch. And the Young Sheldon actually isn't that bad. It's shot completely differently.
Yeah.
Does it have a laugh track?
No.
Because I just can't understand this day and age. You still have shows, because that's one of the things with Big Bang Theory. I watched a few seasons of it because it was like, okay, this is really stupid, but this is like some of my culture. Let's watch some of this, and it still has a laugh track.
It seems to be there's two kinds of kind of comedies. There's like a high production type comedy, which is going to be like your Modern Family, Office, which is document based, which is not really high budget in the fact of it's a lot of bells and whistles.
Well, it's shot
the
with
camera
film.
works different. It's shot with film.
Yeah.
And then the other one's your three
like,
cameras set up.
There's your live action. This is clearly a set they're on.
Yep.
Laugh track, filmed in front of a live studio audience type stuff.
Well, it's because there's a great video where they're talking about the Big Bang Theory, and they're like, let's take the laugh track out. Mm-hmm. And the show is just fucking weird because there's just so many where they do a joke, and the laugh track kind of fills in that moment, and then it keeps going. And when they take it away, it is just like this awkward pause.
I guess that's what it is, because there's an awkward pause to it, because it's kind of breaking the fourth wall, like waiting for the applause while. Because I would say that the Young Sheldon is filmed more like Life in Pieces type thing, and it's got good actors. It's a funny show. It's actually quite funny, especially compared to how different it is. So I don't know if I'm assuming the show will continue on because the only thing Jim Parsons has to do with it is a voiceover at the beginning of every episode, and that's it.
Okay. Well, if you're a Big Bang Theory, not sorry. So
if you are a Big Bang Theory, I'm sorry.
You got 12 seasons.
Yeah,
there are so many shows.
I got one season of Firefly, and I know that time has passed, but I'm still pretty pissed about it. That was a fantastic
Mike's
show.
mom.
I only got 3 or 4 of Eastbound and Down, and good God, was that.
Every season,
that's a god
every season of that show was like an act of Congress to get
it. Really was. It really was. And if you haven't watched that is the funniest show I've ever seen in my life.
I despise that show.
Do you really?
I love it, but I can't fucking stand how much of a dick he is to everybody.
Yeah, everyone.
It infuriates me.
But it's
so
also
it makes
like
me not want to watch it.
cringy and so hard to watch sometimes. God, I love it.
I enjoyed the one where they had the pitch off at Will Ferrell's dealership in like season
Yeah.
1.
I only watched the first season, which I really enjoyed, but then I never watched another season.
Oh, it's absolutely worth continuing, and I think it's on the Prime too, because it's an older HBO show. It is so worth it. It is so good.
Ray, you just sounded so old in that sense because you said the Prime.
I know,
and that's such just.
And he said it unironically too.
Yeah. You weren't like it's on the Prime. You're like it's on the Prime, and you like
he's differentiating his articles and choosing to leave certain words out. Like for all you Big Bang Theory, sorry, like you forgot the word fan.
Yeah, for all you Big Bang Theory. It's like fans and theory. DC Universe. So Doom Patrol.
Oh God, here it goes. Ray with his DC news, going to DC.com, all this shit.
DC Universe. We've been talking about Doom Patrol. That's going to be one of the new shows available on DC Universe, and they did some casting for Robot Man, who's also Cliff Steele. And it's
amazing name.
Isn't that great?
Amazing.
It's almost as good as Greg Steele.
yes.
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah, not quite there.
It's like Greg Steele and 150,000 feet above him, Bobby MT69.
Yeah.
Climbing the top of that mountain of badass.
Yeah, he blew his way to the top. He just spot guaranteed in heaven.
I just wonder how they can climb that mountain with their giant manly balls dangling below.
They bounce on them like in South Park.
No.
They put their balls in the microwave.
Oh,
But Brenden Fraser is going to be taking this role.
nice.
So we've done it again, guys.
Got him some work.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
One less hobo on the street.
There's a huge surge for Brenden Fraser on Reddit the last couple years. And he eventually came out of hiding.
Yeah.
And
He's been in a couple of things.
yeah, he's kind of coming
Recently.
back. And what had happened was similar to what happened to Terry Crews. Apparently, he was touched sexually by a male producer or somebody in the movie industry, and it just fucked him up real bad. So he kind of withdrew from the industry for a while because he felt like really just guilty,
Really weird,
and
yeah.
conflicted, and all that. So
I did not know that. That is crazy.
Yeah, so that's why he left the scene. He did an article about it a few months back.
Well,
that I
good
was
for him
reading.
for coming back then. I thought it was alcoholism, probably tied to it from the guilt, but like I thought it was just him partying and being done with his money. So hey,
So we might get another Mummy without Tom Cruise.
God, here we go again. Fuck. No, that's one of my favorite lines. It was a second or third Mummy, and the line is literally, "Here we go again." And I was just thinking, like, now he just says it like with no soul in his eyes, like, "Here we go again," like, just to kind of make that semi-funny.
they'll shoot the movie and like when he's running away, you'll see a check dangling from his back pocket. Like,
And they'll like superimpose a smile on him, like Henry Cavill at the beginning of Justice League.
Oh,
Or all
gosh.
through that movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it looks like the creators of Veronica Mars,
They
the
just won't let that shit die.
for real,
no.
the,
Fucking Joss Whedon needs these people to work with him.
right? Rob Thomas is the creator of that. Yeah. You thought he only did.
I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell.
Just
That's
like
me,
the
Veronica Mars.
You may remember a couple of years back they did a Kickstarter for a movie, and they raised millions of dollars. It was the largest Kickstarter to that point.
Until Mystery Science Theater 2000.
Until what?
Mystery Science Theater
Oh,
3000.
Yeah, but up to that point, it was the largest Kickstarter, and they got to make their film to finish things up. But it's looking like they're at the table with Hulu, and it looks like there's possibly going to be a revival series that comes out of this.
So I have a confession, Ray. When you get done with this, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No.
Please
Go
continue.
ahead.
Much like the confession you made to me last week about how you just when you think of the Doom guy and the Halo person, and
Yeah,
you just
I
can't
think they're
tell
the
them
same one.
apart.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how Veronica Mars is to me, because I've never seen an episode of Veronica Mars, but whenever I think of it, all I can think of is at the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where she's in that shitty detective show where she can sense animals and talk to them and shit, and her eyes glow blue. So I think for a second, who the fuck wants that show back? And then I realized it's not a real show. So I just wanted you to know how much I hate Forgetting Sarah Veronica Mars.
Oh, gosh.
I'm in the same boat with you, Mike. So.
Yeah.
Veronica Mars is one of those shows that Allison's. It's like more like a modern day.
Not even set in Mars.
It's like a modern day Nancy Drew. Allison's a real big fan of it, and I watched through the first 3 seasons and the movie. It's good. It's good
for
to watch.
you listeners that wonder what Allison looks like, she has her hair in curlers all the time and runs around chasing
Dressed
us.
like Pippi Longstockings
with a rolling pin.
Yeah, with the rolling pin and a house dress
glass.
full of flowers and
like Amelia
butterflies.
Bedelia.
with a bowl of shredded wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big ones,
No,
not the mini.
A bowl of wheat. It's not even shredded. I just processed it in my guts.
So it looks like we may get that on Hulu, which of course Allison is super excited about. Kristen Bell is of course one of the voice actors from Frozen, and she's been in a lot of other
The
things.
Good Place.
Veronica
The
Mars.
Good Place, yes, yeah.
Veronica Mars is your challenge, but from like 5 years ago.
Mine?
No, yours and
And Allison's. Yes, yeah. That
Yes.
makes sense. The Showtime Halo show is set to start production on January 1st in Budapest.
Sounded
Nice.
like an elephant over there. With that
I thought there
noise
was an
you're making.
elephant in the room, an actual elephant in the room. We're going to have to talk about it now.
Guys, I'm losing weight. Be nice. Dicks.
But so it looks like this Halo show is actually going to happen.
I
We
am
keep getting news about it,
So excited.
and it's on Showtime.
And I just can't hide.
I know.
I hope Dexter Morgan plays Halo.
Who do you think they'll get to play Halo?
I don't know what they're going to do. Like, if they're going to have an actual person.
You know who would be
play
really
him or
good at
what?
Halo? Die Hard. Die Hard would be good at being Halo.
Well, it's very strange because I think that the voice actor they have for him is not even a real true voice actor. He's a radio host somewhere, like in Chicago or something. But he's so like so they call him up like, hey, can you record these 5 or 6 lines of dialogue?
He just does it on the phone real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah,
Just put it on Skype real quick.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I'll fucking,
Oh no, the Covenant. I'm gonna get you.
You guys can fix this in post, right? Yeah.
Not today, motherfucker. Another classic Master Chief sayings.
maybe they can make a stoner comedy and it can be Master Chief. So he's like, oh yeah, man, you want to smoke the Master Chief?
Master Bogart.
That's the villain.
It's true. He's trying to smoke all the weed before I can.
Yeah.
And he's just on his throne like
Oh no.
trying to like knock down this roach. He's burnt his fingers,
The
man.
Master Chief is coming to blow me away.
You sound very Swedish.
I know. It's the only accent I can
Swedish / Italian.
He's coming to blow me away.
Just because his name's Master Chief doesn't mean he's Jamaican. That's your guys' issue for having preconceived.
Well, little did we know he was an Italian person raised half of his life in Sweden.
I would like to get the chocolate of Master Chief.
That's amore. That's the best I can do. Okay, let's move on.
So Danny Boyle exits the Bond 25. He was supposed to direct.
Big surprise.
Yeah, and production was set to start in January 3rd for a November 2019 release. The rumor is that Jean-Marc Vallée, who did Dallas Buyers Club, or Edgar Wright, who's the director of Baby Driver and lots of other things, are in talks to direct this now.
Edgar Wright.
Didn't he take over for Batman for a while too?
Edgar Wright.
Who? Oh, yeah, I gotcha. That is a
Dumb joke.
no. Who's the guy?
Azrael.
Azrael. Yes, that's an Azrael Batman joke. That's a deeper cut for our podcast. Yeah. So Danny Boyle's gone. What y'all think?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Man, I'm tired. If him or a few other directors say they're going to do something that is kind of slightly out of their wheelhouse, and it's these specific directors, I just don't believe it until it happens.
So
because
Danny Boyle, Edgar Wright,
Guillermo
like-
del
yeah,
Toro,
Guillermo del
Darren
Toro.
Aronofsky.
It's these weird
Aronofsky.
5 directors like, oh yeah, he said he'll do it. It's like, no,
Neil
And
Blom-
everyone gets
Well,
Neil
Neil
Blomkamp.
Blomkamp.
Yeah.
Blomkamp's more of I want to do it, but then they canceled the project on me.
That's true.
So I'll just do my own thing.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the
That's
same
very
thing.
similar.
yeah, it's like these motherfuckers be walking off the rug. Neil Baumklam gets the fucking rug pulled out from under him. Oh man, not again.
Did Danny Boyle do the last Bond film? I don't
No.
Okay.
The last, I mean, he did Trainspotting 2.
Yeah.
28 Days Later.
I didn't know if I
I don't think
don't
he did
remember
the
who
last
was
one.
the last
I
director
think
for it.
Sam Mendes, maybe.
So
I'm gonna look
here's
that
some.
up real quick.
We've got some more bad news for Guardians of the Galaxy. Apparently, the production was stopped, and the people were told go home.
Go
do
get another
other
job.
stuff.
Yeah, go get another job. We don't have anything for you right now. But there is a rumor that Taika Waititi, the director from
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, had a meeting with the Marvel people, the Disney people, and for an undisclosed film. So that could be the Eternals that we've been talking about, could be Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or it could be
Another
Thor. So
I could go with 2 of the 3 of those.
So what they should do is just make the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and just put Thor in it,
Yes.
yeah.
and boom, you got a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and I think why people keep bringing up the Eternals is because that is an corner of the Marvel universe that they could kind of give him, kind of like they gave James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy, and he could just do his thing with it because he has a very unique style, aesthetic.
I would like to see him play around with Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
That
we
would
still
be
got
a
a little
fun
more.
dynamic for him.
Yeah.
That would be one that I would say, okay, do this little Guardians thing, do this Thor thing.
Mhm.
This is what we got coming up in a few years.
Yeah,
If you want to play around with this sandbox, get some ideas together, because I think he'd be really fun with it, with the visuals he had in Ragnarok,
yeah.
with the way the Fantastic Four go traveling to different dimensions and all kinds of craziness. I think he'd have a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I mean he did a good, like, he took a franchise from them that was not really doing that well, and he made it something completely different. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, and it had its cheesy points with some of the jokes and all, but he made it successful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the Thor movie was phenomenal.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 2 are very forgettable.
Very.
very much.
They're not bad, but like
No.
by comparison, but they're just
Yeah.
forgettable.
Well, because even in the Avengers movies, I don't know, Thor was just, he was kind of there, and he'd had little moments, but they kind of revamped him and made him a completely more likable,
Yeah.
fun, enjoyable character where you want him on the screen.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
yeah, and then Infinity War just
yeah,
cranked that up even more.
and yeah,
Well, and he was there was a little more silliness to Ragnarok,
Mm.
even though there was seriousness to it. I mean, his world died, but in Infinity War, it got pretty serious.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can deal with this Thor. I like this Thor.
Exactly.
And I don't think this Thor is so far off from Thor in the comics
No.
because he's very aloof a lot of times.
He's also kind of coming into his own,
Yeah.
He's gaining his power. I
Yes.
think he's, taking his rightful place as the king of Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd really like, I mean, I've said it a lot of times, but I'd really like to see Hemsworth keep going
No, I absolutely would
with this
too.
role at this point.
And
Even
he's
as
getting a
older
lot of
Thor
other
would look-
work, so
Mhm.
he's not getting like typecast or anything like that.
No.
hopefully, I just wonder with Guardians how far is it going to push back? Because obviously they need to find a director, and
Yeah.
then that director is going to
Want to do some
mingle
rewrites
with stuff. And I wonder if that's going to be one of those things where that'll probably be contingent on who they hire, because I know a lot of the actors want James Gunn's script.
Yeah.
Well,
you know.
they didn't have a set release date on it.
And I
That's
did
one
read
thing.
that they said there wasn't a set release date, but obviously they were starting.
But they
Yeah.
they don't have a set release date because they haven't announced anything
Yeah, they
after.
I think it's Homecoming.
I don't know. Have they even announced?
Yeah, Homecoming's
like have
July
they officially
5th.
announced it? Okay.
Yeah, something like that,
Okay.
July 5th or around that time.
Yeah.
It's got a firm date.
Of 2020.
19.
Is it 2019?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's
So
the
it's
month,
right after.
Yeah, it is like a month, maybe 2 months right after Avengers
that
4.
makes sense. So, but there's nothing else because we've heard Black Widow, we've heard Doctor Strange 2, we've heard Eternals, we've heard Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we've heard well, now we're hearing maybe Thor 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's being thrown out there. No one's said anything official. So, and I mean, it's frustrating, but also I think it's kind of cool of Marvel to keep this in their back pocket, and just be like, y'all focus on what we got right here, because that's a big deal. So, going back to more WB news, this DC news, the Batman. Apparently, WB met with Oscar Isaac for the role in the Batman, an undetermined role in the Batman.
He'd be a villain, I would think.
Oh, he would. I feel like he would have to be.
Yeah,
I don't know. He could be like someone like Red Hood or something like that if they start throwing characters like that in.
He's a little old for Red Hood, I would think.
Is he?
I mean,
he's wearing a hood.
Maybe Harvey Dent.
True.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Or
he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Excellent actor. Most of the movies he's in, he's.
I'm glad that we have these level of actors now playing superhero films. This has a very limited shelf life of like being able to get this big of an actor to be in this kind of stuff, like him and Batfleck and people like that. But I'm glad to be living in that time.
It wasn't soured for him from Apocalypse either.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah.
I mean,
I forget he was Apocalypse, actually.
Yeah.
He's got to place Poe Dameron too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's still got Star Wars money coming in.
He's got strong stock.
When you get those buckets of, or actually dump trucks of money that they pull up, it's hard to go. I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
Stick around.
Yeah.
All this money will help me with my art.
Yes. And we also talked about the Supergirl film that they're apparently moving ahead with. Apparently, they're looking at Reed Morano, who did a lot of The Handmaid's Tale, to kind of head that film up. So
interesting.
That's not the Isaac thing. None of those are 100% determined. No. This is what they're looking at right now, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick for that too.
Yeah. New show coming out November 9th on Netflix. We just watched the preview for it. It's in our show notes as usual. It's called The Outlaw King with Chris Pine. What were y'all's thoughts?
Biggest issue I have with that is I'm going to get lost in those beautiful blue eyes he has every time he's on scene because
they're
Chris
pretty miraculous.
Pine is goddamn dreamy, guys.
Especially middle-aged Chris Pine, and not like he's middle-aged, but the show takes place in the Middle Ages.
Oh, yeah.
The last movie I saw him in, they had to put Gal Gadot on the screen to get me to stop looking at those eyes. So,
there's a gif going around of like Gal Gadot, Myron, Chris Pine, and it's pretty funny because you can tell she remembers she's married at one point and looks away in shame. It's so wonderful.
But it looks interesting. So like medieval movie. It looks like he has a small militia army and they attack castles. Is that kind of what? That's what I was getting. Is like their plan is we'll attack different castles to take
Scotland
over.
Trying to get their freedom from the English, right?
That's what it looks like because Robert the Bruce is involved and he was a big character in Braveheart.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it takes place within his lifetime. So it's probably related to Scottish independence.
Yeah. It's soon because that's what next
November. That's November 9th.
Very soon.
Yeah, right around.
A couple months.
Only 3 months away.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
but the trailer's on the show notes. Check that out.
Looks good.
It looks good.
Really good. Actually, I was very impressed by it. The quality, and Chris Pine's a great actor.
And on a Netflix film, a movie, or a show. So we have this mystery, guys. We need to know who is the turd burglar. And on September 14th, American Vandal Season 2 is coming back. If you haven't seen American Vandal Season 1, it's a mockumentary on Netflix, and it is short of like Spinal Tap. It's probably the best and maybe only other mockumentary I've seen.
No, there's what's the dog show
Best
one?
in Show.
Yeah, Best in Show's really good.
A Mighty Wind.
Yeah,
those aren't mockumentaries, are they?
Yeah, they're all
The
Office.
The Office. Yeah.
No, American Vandal Season 1 was just this
Parks and
amazing thing that came out of nowhere.
You like a lot
Yeah.
of mockumentaries.
You've seen a bunch of
Apparently, I have.
and I don't know, it just out of nowhere I just seen people that would post who drew the dicks.
Yeah,
And it was a little just a pop culture phenomenon that happened. And
for like a month.
yeah, because people you would never think would watch something were watching American
Pastor
Vandal.
Dale, who drew the dicks? I don't know.
There's no ball hair.
I always put the 3 ball hairs. Like it's just so
my
fucking-
signature.
Yes. And so now they're doing a sequel
I need to watch it so bad.
where
which you wouldn't think, like, that was such a thing that was like, this is so ridiculous. I never expected this. That's why it's one of the reasons it's so good.
Yeah.
I figured there was going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
I would have never in a million years have said, I guarantee the next one will be about someone poisoning the food and making the entire student body shit. Because that is the premise where
Good thing you
someone
didn't make the anthology versus continuation bet. Right? You'd have been getting the tattoo.
of the turd burglar.
Luckily, you have 5 years to
That's
get
not
it.
very fair, though, because you might just get that tattoo anyway.
Poo emoji.
I hate it. And he's like smirking.
I don't know. Watching the preview, the quality still looks like it's fun. Because that was the other thing about American Vandal was shot so well.
Yes.
It was shot well. They played it so straight, too.
Yeah, straight as an arrow. There's no wink at the camera. The
Never.
entire thing. This really happened, and that's what I loved about American Vandal 1, because people were like, "Is this fucking real?"
Yes.
Like they were having a hard time. Like,
Differentiating.
I
Yeah.
think the whole first episode, I was like, I don't know if this is real or not. And then, like, finally near the end, I was like, oh, okay, this is obviously, like, not real. But it's so, like you said, so straight
Yeah.
that you just don't think that,
No, you get
man.
sucked into it, and it's like, you just go along for the ride, man.
Yeah.
It's-
That's what she said.
just using the name "fucking turd burglar" as
God, yeah.
the villain.
stealing any turds.
He's granting turd wishes.
He's issuing them forth.
Yeah.
I love the black robber mask that they put on on this poo emoji.
I actually think the pied pooper would be a lot better.
that's a good one.
That
Yes.
could be our. There you go. That's our show name, the pied pooper.
Who drew the dicks? Was it the pie pooper? They're gonna tie it
Hopefully,
up.
we can get a hold of them and let them know before the show airs, and we can change it from the turd burglar to the
Last
pied
minute
pooper.
change.
Just go redub every time they say turd burglar.
I better get a goddamn credit. At the end, some asshole who's funnier than us. Yes.
But was it? You said that's September what?
14th.
Yeah,
Well,
September 14th. So
never
that's
forget
right down the. That's right down the down the road.
The toilet.
Yeah, right down the toilet.
The commode. This is the South. We call it the commode, sir.
So
John.
if you haven't seen season 1, you've got time. Go watch it.
Is it going to go away one day?
No, but it's
If you don't want to be left in the dust when
That's where I'm
social
at.
media kicks up again and everybody wants to know who the turd burglar is.
All my pop culture knowledge stopped about 5 years ago. So it's starting to catch up with me in trivia circles.
You got an hour lunch, just pull out the phone and watch Netflix.
I'm on a data plan, buddy. I'm on no more. I let my unlimited data go.
Just use that bank Wi-Fi.
yeah. And then we also had a trailer we watched for a video game. What was the title of that game?
The Sunken City.
The Sunken
Into
City.
the Sunken
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
I have
And
no idea what it's about, but it looks amazing.
there's a Cthulhu statue in it.
It's trippy as hell.
It
There's
is.
a Cthulhu in it
Watch
too.
watch
There's a
the video,
Cthulhu.
guys. Just watch
I
it.
would say that's one of the better.
Only
game
cool person I've
previews.
ever seen in a trilby.
Yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't really give you any gameplay, or it just seems like it's
It's that
otherworldly.
Yeah, it's that Lovecraftian kind of Victorian 1930s kind of mishmash.
Yeah.
Guy wakes up, has a Thompson, puts on his hat, walks around,
Weird shit's happening.
hallucinates the water falling from the sky like ocean and drowning him. It's crazy. and then he falls. There's some thalassophobia involved. Some
they very
some
much
deep dark waters and octopus tentacles. Really creepy.
Graphically,
it looks amazing. The mocap's
it looks
amazing.
so
Mocap's really good.
There are points where it's indistinguishable from a real movie, so it looks really good. I don't want to go too much into it. I know it's just a teaser, but it's still a really cool thing to watch.
it's a good experience for you to have as a viewer.
I'm sure we'll have the link in the show notes.
Yeah. I'll put that in there.
But anybody who's a big fan of survival horror, eldritch horror, Lovecraft in general, this looks really cool.
Because we were talking about, there's not a ton of Lovecraftian things in video games. It's a huge, it's almost its own genre in board games.
Yeah.
But in video games, you don't get that often.
There's a lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
But I think Call of Cthulhu was maybe the last one, a video game, and that was 2008, maybe 2007, because it was on 360. It was on original Xbox.
Yeah.
So it was a while ago.
And I think Dead Space had some inspiration from it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Space.
Yeah.
But peep it. Let us know if you like it, and if it seems like something you'll pick up, because it's coming out pretty soon, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's
I did not.
There's
find
no gameplay. It's just a cinematic, but it's got me hyped regardless.
Very cool. All right. And we didn't have any user questions this week, so that does it for our...
Fuck you.
Yeah. You guys are slacking on us.
Here, I'll make up a Brian Marshall question. What's your favorite X-Man?
Yes.
Yes.
No, that's my
Is
answer.
this a person who's been a member of the team or never mind?
All right, guys. Well,
Mine's
like
Malcolm
always,
X.
thank you for listening to the podcast. If you listen to us on Spotify, thank you for that. If you listen to us anywhere, actually, we're very appreciative.
We really
of that. Make sure to go over to GWW and check out TJ's review that we did.
We posted it on our Facebook and our Instagram. If you're not following us there, do that. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. We're working on some things, and we've been putting stuff up there, too. You can also listen to our podcast there as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good evening or day or afternoon whenever you listen to this. Goodbye, bitches.
Later, boners.
Nerds Who Get Laid Sometimes is recorded at the illustrious Big Brown Record Town Studios in beautiful downtown Lake City. Episodes are published each Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and Google Play. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerds Who Get Laid. We're at Nerds Who Get Laid on Twitter and Instagram. We're part of the Geeks World Wide podcast network. You can find reviews and articles we write at thegww.com. We're also part of the Modest Pod podcast network. We're on FloridaGeekscene.com and also WeBeGeeksPC.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. You can also check out the show notes for links about things we talked about in this episode. Thanks so much.
This has been a production of the GWW Radio Network. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Also, check out Geeks Worldwide at thegww.com for all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on video games, comics, movies, TV, cosplay, and more. Geeks Assemble!